What if I told you that World War II is filled with secrets that most people don't know? From unexpected heroes to shocking decisions, this monumental conflict changed the world in ways that are rarely discussed. Why did some nations stay neutral while others plunged into chaos? In this video, we'll uncover the untold stories behind the battles, the leaders, and the people who shaped history during this incredible time. The rise of neutral nations. When you think of World War II, you probably picture the fierce battles between major powers like the United States, Germany, and Japan. But what about the countries that chose to stay out of the conflict? Nations like Switzerland, Sweden, and Spain managed to maintain their neutrality while the world around them erupted into chaos. Switzerland, for instance, was surrounded by Axis powers, but maintained its neutrality through a combination of diplomacy and military readiness. Their strong army and well-fortified borders discouraged invasion. Meanwhile, Sweden provided critical resources like iron ore to both sides, carefully balancing its position to avoid conflict. Spain, led by Francisco Franco, was officially neutral, yet Franco's government supported Axis powers in subtle ways, such as sending volunteer troops to fight alongside German forces in the Eastern Front. These choices show how complex the politics of war can be and how some nations skillfully navigated the storm. The hidden contributions of women. While many know about the brave soldiers who fought on the front lines, fewer people recognize the vital roles women played during World War II. Millions of women stepped up to fill the gaps left by men who went off to fight. In the United States, organizations like the Women's Army Corps, WAC, and the Navy Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Service, WAVES, allowed women to serve in non-combat roles. Women took on jobs in factories, producing essential war materials. They built planes, tanks, and ships, helping to ensure that soldiers had the equipment they needed. In fact, it is estimated that around 6 million women entered the workforce during the war. This shift not only contributed to the war effort, but also changed perceptions of women's capabilities in society. Across Europe, women also served in various capacities. Soviet women fought bravely on the front lines, with some even becoming snipers. One famous example is Lyudmila Pavlichenko, who became one of the deadliest snipers of the war, with over 300 confirmed kills. These untold stories of women's contributions during World War II reveal the significant impact they had on the conflict and the lasting changes that resulted. The secret war of intelligence. Another lesser-known aspect of World War II is the critical role of intelligence and espionage. The Allies and Axis powers relied heavily on spies and codebreakers to gain an advantage over each other. The most famous example is the breaking of the Enigma code by British cryptanalysts at Bletchley Park. The Enigma machine was used by German forces to send coded messages. By cracking this code, the Allies were able to intercept vital communications, leading to significant victories. This intelligence work is credited with shortening the war and saving countless lives. Alan Turing, one of the key figures in this effort, played a crucial role in developing techniques and machines to decode the messages. On the other side, the Axis powers also had their intelligence operations. For instance, the Abwehr, Germany's military intelligence service, conducted espionage activities worldwide, attempting to infiltrate Allied nations. However, many of their efforts were thwarted by counterintelligence operations. The impact of technology. World War II was not just a conflict of soldiers. It was a showcase of technological advancements that would shape the future. The war saw the introduction of several groundbreaking technologies that changed how wars would be fought. One significant development was the use of radar. This technology allowed forces to detect enemy planes and ships from miles away, giving them a crucial edge in battles. The British used radar effectively during the Battle of Britain, helping to protect their skies from German bombers. Another major innovation was the development of the airplane. Fighters like the Spitfire and the Mustang played pivotal roles in air combat, while bombers like the B-29 Superfortress changed the nature of warfare, allowing countries to strike deep into enemy territory. The B-29, for example, was used in the devastating bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to the end of the war in the Pacific. The introduction of tanks also transformed land battles. Tanks like the German Tiger and the American Sherman revolutionized ground warfare, allowing for faster, more mobile engagements. These vehicles were key in numerous battles across Europe and North Africa. The human cost of war. While we often focus on battles and strategies, it's essential to remember the human cost of World War II. This conflict resulted in the deaths of an estimated 70 to 85 million people, making it one of the deadliest wars in history. Civilians bore the brunt of this tragedy. The Holocaust, one of the darkest chapters of the war, led to the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, including Romani people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents. The sheer scale of this genocide serves as a haunting reminder of the depths of human cruelty. In addition to the Holocaust, millions of civilians died from bombings, starvation, and disease. Cities like London, Dresden, and Hiroshima faced massive destruction, with countless lives lost in the process. In Japan alone, the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki resulted in approximately 200,000 deaths, both immediate and due to subsequent radiation exposure. Moreover, the war left lasting scars on those who survived. Many veterans returned home with physical and psychological wounds, struggling to adapt to civilian life. The impact of the war extended far beyond the battlefield, shaping societies for generations to come. The aftermath and lessons learned. The end of World War II in 1945 marked not only the conclusion of a brutal conflict, but also a turning point for global relations. The world was left to grapple with the consequences of the war, and many nations faced the task of rebuilding. One of the most significant outcomes was the establishment of the United Nations in 1945. This organization aimed to promote peace, security, and cooperation among nations to prevent future conflicts. The lessons learned from the devastation of the war shaped its mission, highlighting the importance of diplomacy over warfare. The war also led to the division of Europe into East and West, with the Iron Curtain symbolizing the growing tensions of the Cold War. Countries like Germany were divided, with East Germany falling under Soviet influence and West Germany becoming a democratic state. This division created a new landscape for international politics that would dominate the next several decades. World War II is a treasure trove of untold stories that reveal the complexity of human experience during one of history's darkest times. From the roles of neutral nations to the contributions of women in the secret world of espionage, these narratives remind us that the war was about more than just battles and strategies. Understanding these stories can help us appreciate the sacrifices made and the lessons learned. If you found this video enlightening, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating insights into history.